Baltimore took a trip to New Jersey, came out with a win, 35-14. Lamar Jackson, 21 completions, 290 yards, 5 tuds. Tim Boyle in relief duty, 12 completions, 123 yards, touchdown, and a pick. Just what the doctor ordered, right?
Yeah, man. We all four of us said this on Friday that it wasn't really the Raven. We should be having, like, and Nick emphasized, we should have our feet up, by the middle of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, which would happen for Whitney. This dominated bad team is what you're supposed to do. Is what teams do against the Giants. I'm surprised they got 2 wins or 3 wins. How many? I'm surprised they even got that. But yeah, man, they just a bad team. So, like I said, I ain't about to sit here and come in and we could talk about some individual performances. I'm not going to come in or the Ravens. It's the Ravens' dad. They did exactly what they supposed to do. They dominated a bad team. Shout out to Lamar. A lot of people saying that it's Josh Allen MVP to lose. I mean, the race has got to still be open after that type of performance, and we're gonna talk about what Josh did in Detroit. But Lamar played well. You do what you're supposed to do against a bad offense. You take away the early fumble, which I'm not even putting him. I'm putting that on Zay Flowers because if Zay block, that's a touchdown. So you take away that, he played a great game. It's one of them games probably when if you take away that fumble, is one of them perfect passer rating games. That's the type of play was. Everything legs. I think for the future, these Ravens receivers need to start blocking, because now we're saying Lamar, like, all right, it's go time. Like, it is no indecisiveness about leaving the pocket and running and throwing. If the lane is there, you'll be seeing it. Hopefully this is, foreshadowing for the rest of the season, but he's taking off. It's no more sitting back. It's no more, let's wait. No, he's taking off immediately. And that's what this team need. That's what this team need. We talked about Josh Allen. That's what he does. Like, you gotta take the defense give you all the time. And we understand you want to be a quarterback. You are a quarterback. You plan like a quarterback. But now it's time to point season where you got to do what you need to do to win. And that's taking our running for 60 yards a game, 60 plus yards a game. That's what you have to do. So yeah, offensively, played well. Offensive line played well. Receivers played well. I'm not, like I said, I'm not giving Bateman too much credit. The Giants suck. This is we talk about this. It's like a lightning in a bottle with him. Like, we need this consistently. Like, we're not asking you to go and get 2 tugs, 100 yards a week, but 5 catches here, 6 catches. That's what you should be averaging per game. Like, so we're not going to congratulate him for that game. Good game. But we need you to be way more consistent, like way more consistent. So I said, shout out to the offense, shout out to Todd Monk, and the screen game was back. It looked good on offense. Like I said, you can't really get too high up on it because it's the Giants. Defensively, I think the only thing is Brandon Stevens got to go. Like, I'm ready for Nate Wiggins to be the number 1 corner on the depth chart. Like, and I think that's a John Harbaugh thing, because I've seen other teams change depth charts in the middle of the season. Like, I don't just because
middle of the game.
Yeah, exactly. I don't just because you leave training camp as the number 1 guy as on the depth chart does not mean that it should remain that way all season. If somebody comes in that's playing better than you, not even playing better than you, but if you playing like that, then you can't be the number 1 guy. I seen Nate yesterday, play very well against Malik Neighbors. I seen Brandon Stevens every time he get a chance hold Malik Neighbors yesterday. So it's like he got to go, man. And that's really the weakest link to this defense right now. We're getting constant pressure. The linebacker Malik Harrison, since we've been calling him, like, he's playing better. Darius Washington, he's been a damn godsend. I don't know what type of evaluation he was doing before the season. I guess they was going to go by name and money, but he should have been starting from game 1. Like I said, so other than that, Darius.
Oh yeah, Darius.
Yeah. So other than that, you go to, and I'm pretty sure Nick will touch it. But the biggest thing is from this game is you get out without no injuries on that field, man. Like, you get out in this 11-day stretch, and now you look forward to this. You get out that game. Like I said, we didn't see the injury report for this week, but you get out that game relatively healthy. Your main guys are good to go for this weekend, more than likely. So yeah, we not hanging our hat on that. We happy to get back in the win column. It's exciting to be back in the win column. It's exciting to look the way you did against a bad team. That's how you're supposed to look. But we know what's looming. We know what's Saturday. We know what's there. We know what's in front of us, just like they know what's in front of them. It's a big game. You can't downplay it. You're not taking enough of it. We not, like I said, we're not going to talk about, should they rest their starters, that this is a huge game for both teams. Whereas the Steelers win this game, they lock up the division. The Ravens win this game, the division is wide open. So it's a huge game. And you gotta consistent, man. You gotta be consistent. Take that Giants game and build on it. You're not gonna be able to score 35 points against the Steelers. It's not gonna be open like that all game. But you can take the things that you did in that game, the play calling, offensively and defensively, and just build on it. And shout out to Kyle because he played well yesterday. He might not be in the a lot of stats, but every big play, every stopping somebody short, every hard hit, he was there. Marlon still playing like an all-pro. He dropped 2 picks yesterday. That would have increased his chances, but he's still playing like an all-pro. But my biggest everything positive. You did what you're supposed to do against the Giants. Only negative is Brandon Stevens. He has to go. He's terrible.
Yeah, I agree with all your points. And Brandon Stevens is a liability. We called it, first few weeks of the season. And a lot of times, people love to give bail or give like some sort of rope for players when they struggle. And you have to give people grace. But you saw the red flags early on. I mean, whether it's getting his head turned around, whether it's penalties, whether it's being in the right position, whether it's being in the position to make a play on the ball or being in trail position where you're just following people all game long. We've seen it all year as far as with him. It doesn't matter the receiver. It doesn't matter the offense. It doesn't matter the quarterback he's going against. He is a liability. And we talked about it, but it's not something that was just groundbreaking. I mean, people like John Gruden are watching games, not even in the NFL anymore, just watching as a former coach and saying, hey, guys, if I was still a coach, I'd be targeting his tail. And, that's what teams are doing. So we're going to have to figure out a way in which to hide Brandon or to keep him off the field. And I think over the last few weeks, we've seen a lot of promising things from some of the guys depth-wise in our secondary to where we should feel comfortable making that switch. I mean, Nate, to this point in the season, at this particular time, he's our best cornerback. And it's not the fact that he is just a first-round rookie. I mean, he's earned that title as far as every time he gets tested, he stands up to the test. He's right there to make a play on the ball. There was one play to Neighbors yesterday in the end zone that you couldn't have played it any better on a fade. It was a very well-thrown ball by Tim Boyle, too. If anything, he's the 4th quarterback that has played for the Giants. He might have looked like the best one. That's sad. But Tim Boyle placed it right on the money, and Neighbors just couldn't come down with it because, again, Nate put himself in between the quarterback, the wide receiver, and the ball and made a play on it. And that's what we need to see moving forward. But as far as the game in general, listen, it's the Giants. I'm not about to sit here and, feel hunky-dory because we beat up on some little kids, right? Like, let's go on Saturday and play the Steelers who have historically bullied us, right? For at least the last several years. Instead of feeling good about beating up on some little kids, let's go and attack the community bully. You know what I mean? Steelers been bullying people for a while now. We got to shut shit down. And if you do that, that's when I'll be a believer as far as where we are and where I think we can go. Obviously, I feel like we can accomplish whatever goals we set in front of us, which is the Super Bowl. But you also have to put it in action. It can't just be words and talk. And this is the time to turn talk into action. I don't care about, the explosive nature of our offense versus the Giants. I don't care that we can get pressure versus the Giants. I don't care that we can slow up the Giants defense. Something that does follow that I shouldn't have seen versus a 2-win team. You come out of a bye week and you got whistled for 12 penalties and 112 yards. And in those 2 New York touchdown drives, all those drives were fueled by penalties created by the Ravens. So these were unforced errors coming out of a bye week against a 2-win team. So yeah, talent-wise, yeah, we're gonna dirt them, and that's exactly what we did. We just had too much going on as far as firepower. We have an MVP candidate at quarterback. We have a defense that's ascending, and we have something to play for. The Giants have Shador Sanders or Cam Ward to play for, Travis Hunter to play for. They do not care right now. Okay, so let's stop acting like whatever we put on tape is just what we have to offer. It's the Giants. Shout out to people like Rashad Bateman. Great game. I think it was his first game in his career with multiple touchdowns in a game. And through 3 plus years in his 4th year, seems like we're seeing a breakout. I would love to see it. Just side note, Devontae Adams had 9 catches, 198 yards, two touchdowns in the second half yesterday. So there is levels to this shit, but that's another story.
Yeah,
Damn.
It is. I'm
I
sorry.
did not know where he
love.
was going with that one.
Start
But
with love.
that was great.
It's levels to this, and
Positive
again,
reinforcement.
Listen, we're getting there, right? We're getting there. We're getting there to having our own Devontae Adams. But I mean, listen, I can't criticize having a good game against the Giants because you still got to go out there and do it. And it's like the Giants didn't have an answer for him. He could have had 3 touchdowns, right? So that's awesome to see. Mark Andrews getting healthy and making plays consistently now. That's awesome to see. Lamar, his trust is back in Mark. And listen, Lamar has a lot of options going forward, and we just have to figure out what our identity is going to be. We didn't see a lot of Derek yesterday. I guess that's a good thing because wear and tear, didn't necessarily need him. No point in putting the miles on him if we don't necessarily need him. But it's going to be very interesting come Saturday. What is our philosophy? Are we going to be bombs away after what we've shown 5 touchdowns versus the Giants, or are we going to go back to running the ball? Are we going to get conflicted in that identity, right? Because it's not going to be as easy to do those things versus the Steelers. Now, the Steelers have struggled defensively as far as in defending the pass in recent weeks. So we might feel inclined to test them, but again, it's going to come down to what is our identity. And right now, I would say our identity is that of a balanced, versatile team that should be able to take what the defense gives them and capitalize in those situations. So Keys kind of mentioned it. If there's a rush lane for Lamar, listen, man, that's something that we need to take. If there is something that dictates pre-snap that, hey, there's going to be one-on-one coverage here, we got to take those looks. If there's something that says, hey, the box is light, Derrick Henry's back there, let's gash him, that's what we're going to have to do. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that evolves over these next 3 or so weeks. As Keys already mentioned it, like this is when the season starts. The season started now. So these are the most important games for me because this is just the tune-up for the playoffs. And as you get closer to the playoffs, the margin for error decreases. And again, I go back to those penalties. That is not what you want to that's not what you want to see coming out of a bye week against a team like that. And I think that is the biggest takeaway from me. 12 penalties is usually going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt you against the Giants. They're not trying to win. Against teams that are trying to win, we have to beat teams in the playoffs that are trying to win just as much as we are. We can't make 12 penalties.
Yeah. For me, it's about some of the unsung guys yesterday. Like, we don't talk enough about Justice Hill and just some of the plays he makes. 5 catches yesterday out of the backfield for 61 yards, but he's continued to be not only a force in the pass blocking game, but just a force out of the backfield catching the ball as well. A great change of pace guy from Derrick Henry. You heard Nick say Henry didn't get that many snaps yesterday. He didn't have to. Justice had a great game. And Justice has been producing at a high clip all year, considering the price that he's paid. So he's really outperforming that contract. So shout out to Justice Hill. Roger Rosengarten, he also had a good game on the offensive line. You kind of saw Stanley early get beat by Brian Burns, and you're like, come on now. Stanley and Makari just been a bit subpar the last couple of weeks, but hopefully they get it right. But Roger Rosengarten, he's definitely looked better the last couple of weeks at his position. It's the Giants. I mean, they converted 9 of 11 third downs yesterday. The Ravens did. Efficient game outside of that first drive. Kind of saw a spark on the special teams too without Tyler Wallace back there, Desmond King, and Justice Hill actually with the opening kickoff. So the kickoff and then the punt by Desmond King both flipped the field. So you saw some special teams improvements, some changes in that regard from the previous week.
Tucker not kicking off no more.
Yeah, Tucker not kicking off anymore as well. So some changes, and we'll see how that kind of progresses, especially with the 2 games in 5 days. Not much stock put into this game for me, though, outside of the fact that Lamar Jackson is him. You look at that Giants defense, they were top 7 coming into the game. They hadn't given up any more than 2 passing touchdowns all year. as surprising as that may be. And you see him coming yesterday, go for 5 touchdowns. He goes for 290 yards. They're only giving up like $194 a game. So Lamar Jackson definitely came out, performed yesterday, put on a show why he's just as worthy for an MVP as someone else we'll talk about later on in the show. But good win for the Ravens, but it ultimately boils down to Saturday. And what do you do then? Can you execute at this clip? Probably not, but you're going to have to execute. You got to be efficient Saturday. Like these third downs, you may not be 9 for 11, but you need to at least be 6 or 7 for 11. You can't be in third and longs against this defense we're going to face on Saturday. It's not going to be as easy. So I'm happy with the win, but we got bigger and better things to worry about.
And to be fair to the Giants, they were missing some defensive starters and some key people in the secondary. Key people in the secondary as well. But hey, I mean, that ain't our problem. We handle business, and again, it's really going to come down to Pittsburgh. I mean, we had this game with their game yesterday, coming down in the standings as far as with the loss on their record. So, you know, with this, we have the opportunity to tie record-wise. Pittsburgh obviously is still going to have be ahead of us at that current point in the tiebreaker scenarios. But, you know, with 2 AFC-related games and a division game to close the season, they have the opportunity, or we have the opportunity to still win the AFC North should we continue to win and we get some help from Pittsburgh. So this is a huge game. Obviously, it's a moot point if Pittsburgh goes out and beats us for the 9th time in 10 games. And honestly, when somebody has a stat like that hanging over your head, you really can't be jovial about beating up on the Giants.
Good win, guys. Good win. We can go to a commercial break and I'll talk about the Phillies' good win.
Thank you, Philly.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. Best city in Pennsylvania.
When I want some sports news, Nitty Gritty is definitely who I'm tuning into, man. They show up each week with that uncut, that raw, that unfiltered sports news.
They say the things that everyone else wishes that they can say, but they can't.
Every Tuesday and Saturday, I am locked into my favorite sports show, Nitty Gritty.
Nitty Gritty, the best show out right now. Tune in and listen, stupid.